Although it's not winter yet, today it is time to rebuild the Christmas tree. In the last video you saw me bang out the old engine mounts, so today we continue to reassemble the rally cases by putting engine bushings from Klaus Studios into them. They're made from polyurethane and they come with a set of instructions. They seem pretty straightforward. You take a little bit of grease, you grease the inside of your bushings, you do not put grease on the outside of them. And then the instructions say that you hit the silent blocks and try to get them through by that. The rear shock one had a lip on both sides, so I used the clamp to slowly let the elasticity of the polyurethane feed itself through. Putting in engine bushings that are a bit stiffer than the stock ones give you better feedback from a rear tire while you're riding, because at the end of the day your engine is your direct connection to your rear tire. However, them being a bit stiffer will probably have the whole bike vibrate a bit more. Moving on to the front mounts. They were pretty simple, just a couple of bangs with the rubber mallet. A little bit of force for the inner tube, and we're done. Moving on to rebuilding the primary, which is also funnily named the Christmas tree due to its shape. This whole engine before the rebuild was a big unknown. We didn't know what was going on inside it, so we decided, hey, why not rebuild the primary so we have that out of the way and there's no way it can fail on us. In order to replace the springs inside the Cush drive, we need to remove the plates, replace the springs, and then rivet new plates back in. I start off by gemeling off the old rivets, and I can pry open the old plates. I do this on both sides, first in the back and then in the front, although I don't think it matters which one you do first. With the plates out of the way, we have access to the 6 springs that are in. Here, by removing the last one, I'll show you how I do it. Just simply use a screwdriver or a spring puller and you pry them out. The springs consist of one large one and one small one inside. Then you can slightly turn the inner cluster and separate primary gear from your gear tree. I do use a 3mm drill to drill out the old rivet holes. Moving on to replacing the bearing inside the cluster. First we need to remove the circlips, which I made my own small special tool for it. Then, having access to the actual bearing, I can just simply bang out the axle inside from the small end through the large one, so the bearing pops out, and then I just bang the axle off from the bearing. Then heating up the cluster itself makes it so much easier to put an ice cold new bearing through, but don't forget to put the axle through, as I almost did here, and then you can almost just slide the bearing in. There you go. Then secure it in place with the new circlips. And then I like to drizzle a little bit of oil on it so the bearings are protected. The primary gear only goes in one specific way. To do that properly, you have to pay attention at the edges. One side is angled while the other one is flat. The flat edge points away from the gears, while the angled groove points towards the cluster of gears. With a slight turn, we put everything into place so we can use heavy pliers to squeeze together the large outer and the smaller inner spring and push them into their respective holes. Now, to close the whole thing up, I use the flat plate underneath and I put my rivets through, and then I use this nice little plate and I use this trick I learned from baking to flip the whole thing around without having anything fall off. And then I can put the other plate with the groove pointing upwards on and through the rivets. and then tighten it down by squeezing it between the lower plate of the tool and the top plate so it can't move while we get ready to hammer the rivets down and flatten them. To make sure I hammer them down crosswise, I mark my plate. A small punch that fits in the hole and a lot of patience. And you eventually get your rivets fixed, and then you take them out and just flatten them with a hammer, and the end result looks like this, and we're ready to put it into the engine. So before I let you go today, I would like to bring your attention to our newly launched Facebook page. I put the links in the comments below, which keeps you updated on our new YouTube releases, as well as on our Instagram and Twitter feed. So if you could pop over there and give it a like, you will never miss anything. Until then, don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next video.